Hello and welcome to our webinar, How to Modernize Your Accounts Receivable Processes to Get Paid Faster. Please take a moment to look at the chat area in the lower right corner of your screen. You will see a drop-down menu with options next to the words Send To. If you have any technical problems today, please send a chat message to host. If you have any questions or comments for our presenter, chat to all panelists. And if you have any comments for the entire audience, chat to all attendees. A recording of this webcast will be available tomorrow, and we will send all registrants an email tomorrow with the link. Today's presenter is Ryan Beck, Vice President of Client Pay. Ryan oversees the strategic growth and development of Client Pay, working closely with law firms to implement Client Pay's solution. An experienced finance industry veteran, Ryan has a proven track record of helping firms make the transition to Client Pay smoothly and easily. I'll now turn today's presentation over to Ryan to begin. Ryan, go ahead.
Thank you, Carolyn, and thank you everyone for joining us today, taking a little bit of time out of your busy days. I know it's Q4 and everyone's head down in their collections push. So today we are going to focus on a few different things, but really we're going to discuss how changes in the payment industry or payment environment and changes in consumer behavior and expectations are altering the way law firms invoice and collect for payments. We'll discuss a little bit, or I guess we'll look at 9 best practices that will help you manage your accounts receivable in the way that your clients expect. And finally, we'll take a quick peek at some payment technology and how that is really the foundation for a successful payment experience for both your firm and your clients. So today's payments landscape, and it certainly has changed. It certainly has changed very recently, as a matter of fact. The last 20 to 30 years has been a tremendous amount of change. Evolving technology has created new ways for people to access goods, buy goods, pay for services. And when those buyer behaviors change, the way buyers want to pay, expect to pay for those purchases change as well. When the internet first became widely adopted, everyone was buying, shopping 24/7. Location wasn't important. Suddenly everyone had access to a global marketplace right at their fingertips, right on their mobile devices, right from their home or office computer. And as that technology moved to the cloud, a new generation of cloud-based solutions became more prevalent. And both buyers of consumer and business goods and services became more used to interacting with these cloud-based technologies. It's very, very common now for people to want to do that. Obviously, there's the security and compliance aspect and regulatory requirements that were and still very much are significant. Obviously, the data breach aspect is very prominent and it's always in the news. So buyers are concerned. They want the digital aspect, but they also want to keep their personal data safe, especially their payment data. Read a statistic recently that last year there were 1,244 reported data breaches, and those are just reported, of course, resulting in almost 450 million records being exposed, which is a crazy amount, especially when you don't hear about the Targets and the Home Depots as part of that back in 2018 like you did in 2014. Considering there's 330 million people in the U.S., that's 1.5 records exposed or compromised or put into potentially the wrong hands for every man, woman, child in the U.S. So it's very concerning, but obviously a part of the digital payment experience. Today obviously that level of data is expected and available through technology and analytics. And there are much more sophisticated buyers than there were even 5 years ago. A buyer that's really savvy and very capable of navigating a digital payment landscape. If we put our buying hats on, of course, we know that digital payments are certainly the expectation. Your customers, consumers, all of us are looking for instant everything, from website load times to password resets. Sometimes the password reset might take 5 seconds. It seems like an eternity. And really also effortless payment experiences. The workforce has 56 million millennials in its ranks, and these millennials have the native digital capabilities and are extremely comfortable making completely digital transactions. Generation Z, obviously following them, they're predicted by next year to be just under half of the U.S. consumer population. They are the first fully digitized generation, born into the generation with Google, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, and obviously many more. These see now, research now, buy now generations really crave immediacy and look for digital tools to thrive and survive. And the statistics certainly support this. According to the U.S. Federal Payment Reserve Study, this is from 2017, so it's probably much higher than it is now. Credit card payments are on a 10% year-over-year increase, whereas check payments are decreasing by nearly 4% every year. So people are looking for that online quick satisfaction, buy now, the Amazon one-click to buy process, because they and if you think about it, really probably the most concerning or difficult part of buying anything or paying for anything is the checkout process. You can always find what you want. It's always the lengthy checkout process in a lot of ways. And you're probably seeing this as well. It wasn't too long ago that large firms, we work with a lot of the AmLaw 200 group, large firms are saying, our clients just don't pay us that way. Well, that's not the case anymore. More corporations, government entities, hospitals, universities, other large entities are wanting to pay with their corporate cards, these purchasing cards, virtual cards, over check payments. Obviously, there's an ease of paying that way. The reporting is fantastic on a lot of those cards. And obviously, there's the perk aspect that we're all familiar with that comes with a lot of those types of cards. And consumer experience is at the heart of payment change within any business. Companies are always looking for new ways to make transacting for their products and services more effortless for their customers or for their clients. And again, an example of that would be Amazon spending millions of dollars developing. They had a quick checkout process, but they took a ton of time and development resources to develop a one-click buying process to simply make it more seamless for consumers to check out. And again, putting that buying hat on, the worst part about that checkout experience, if you've been to an older site or someone that doesn't allow you to pay online, finding a way and going through the process of paying that either by a physical method by sending that in or a 3-page checkout process is very much cumbersome. And it's all about really striking the right balance between setting expectations with clients up front and creating the best buying experience for the more digitally savvy consumer. Adapting AR processes is one thing, but you also need to alter your systems to the way that people prefer to pay. And that really is what leads to faster or better cash flow, eliminating payment delays, and really reducing the amount of write-offs that you have at your firm. And these changes to the overall client experience do translate into real dollars. This is according to a Sage report, a recent Sage report back in 2018 of more than 3,000 U.S. businesses, 10% of late payments were written off as bad debt. And I've seen reports from very reputable industry leaders in the legal space that put that number as high as 18%. So preventing even a portion of that from being written off would make a tremendous impact on a lot of your firms. If you think about it, just using round numbers, $100 million firm, 18% write-offs, that's $18 million. If you could recapture 5% of that, that's $900,000 that you're recapturing. And obviously you can adjust the numbers accordingly, but it certainly does add up for, just by making that shift to a more digitally accessible payment option. And that same study found that 13% of invoices are ultimately paid late. So not written off, but just paid late. And think about your own firm and how many payments extend far beyond that typical invoicing period. What if you were able to collect those in 7 days or 10 days versus waiting till that 30-day period? probably would have a very big, significant impact on your cash flow, especially as we get into times like now where it's year end and there's the big collection push to wrap up before December 31st. And finally, the manual process. Obviously, there's the soft cost element, chasing down transactions. On average, office staff spend or dedicate 15 days a year tracking down these types of payments. So that's 3 business weeks of time just tracking down late payments. And that obviously could be time spent on other areas of the business. Well, we all know that, with all of that being said, we all know that aging invoices are a problem, one that every business who sends out invoices is going to encounter at some point. It would be wonderful if every client paid their invoice upon receipt, but the reality is many aren't going to do that. No matter how much your attorneys bill, and I think a lot of firms that I've spoken with, it's all about the billing, all about bringing in new clients and new work. You really can't overlook that the collection of that work is really the top priority and drives the revenue and cash flow numbers that the attorneys or partners want to see. And there's never going to be a perfect process or technology to completely eliminate all late and non-payments, but there are some strategies that can help you improve on your collection numbers, and we'll go through 9 of those now. Sending invoices via email. I know there's always going to be clients that want mailed invoices. We certainly still have that, see it, and we'll always see it. But if you can remove as much as possible printers and stuffing envelopes and mail delays, that's certainly going to speed up cash cycle. It's amazing how many practice management or time and billing systems offer emailed invoice capability, and the firms that aren't using it. It's always kind of mind-boggling, not even for a portion of their clients or for different practice areas. Email obviously allows you to be seconds away from getting that invoice into their hands, and emailing an invoice can really be effective if you're offering a way to click to pay directly from that. So there's a lot of value in being able to get in front of someone, offer to be able to see the invoice, pay it, or have them forward it on to someone to pay. Speeding up the billing cycle, speedier, hassle-free billing will certainly help you get paid quicker, just like avoiding the physical invoice delay or the delays that come with sending physical invoices. Automating your billing times is certainly going to help reduce your AR delays. You can't blame clients or late paying clients for cash flow problems if you're the one who's getting those emails or getting those invoices to them late. So speeding up that process, making sure it's a regular cycle and getting those invoices in their inbox if it's on the 30th or on the 1st is very important. And finally, allow clients to pay with credit cards. We offer credit, debit card processing, e-check processing, and we've seen a tremendous bump in speed of receivable or speed of payment with a lot of our clients who maybe weren't taking advantage of credit cards or weren't taking them at all. And obviously, it's all about getting paid faster. You know the money's good up front. You get that money within 1 to 2 business days. And whereas with checks, obviously, there's no check flow time determining whether or not the money's going to be returned, or obviously waiting that maybe 4 or 5 day cycle to get that money deposited into your bank account. And then make it convenient for clients to pay. Obviously, that comes with the credit, debit card, even the online e-check processing. Sure, it's a little more cumbersome, takes a little bit longer, but it's easy for them to click to pay, and it goes right online. You don't have to engage the firm. We talked a little bit about security earlier. That's a big thing with online payments too. It's convenient for clients, but then the firm never has to see, touch, handle, hear, enter in any card data. Card data information is being entered in by the client 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and allows your firm to really just see those deposits and notifications coming in whenever someone's making a payment. And when it comes to client retention, people remember companies that are easy to do business with and ones that have applications and services that are easy to use. Think about you might find a cheaper solution or cheaper person to do some work at your house, but if they're difficult to communicate with, difficult to work with, difficult to pay, you're going to maybe choose someone that's going to have better technology, better application, and better methods of kind of wrapping up that receivable or that payable that you owe them. Review accounts receivable regularly. Changes are always occurring within your AR and with your receivables, and being that they are highly valuable assets, of course, running that daily AR report will help you stay on top of those changes. You can then determine which accounts need past due emails, phone calls, obviously letters if you want to go that route, and which need pre-collection notices. And then obviously from there, which ones need to be escalated to collections. And then practice good record keeping on late accounts. This is very important, obviously, as clients get further down the path, but keeping records of each contact you have with past due clients really keeps that paper trail for your firm, and that you used industry best practices to try to recover that payment from that client in case there were any further issues down the road when you either put them into collections or the latter, or worse for that matter, or just simply write it off. You can go back and have that paper trail saying we followed these processes and we were unable to receive payment. We did work for them, they never paid us. Early bird discount. I know it's common for clients to send payment when it's close to the due dates. A lot of us probably do it the same. There's a cash flow advantage. If I don't have to pay for 30 days, why would I pay for 30 days? So some firms I know have explored the option of, what would it look like if we offered a 1 or 2% discount in the first 7 to 10 days. Sometimes that is valuable for certain practice groups. Other times it's not, but you could also experiment with a payment discount to incentivize early payment once it's getting closer to that 30-day mark. Of course, clients that are paying with credit cards, and again, we might be all in the same boat on the consumer side, you can leverage the full duration of the term, put it on a credit card, and then you get 30 days with your card provider. But if you offer that small discount up front, even if they put it on a credit card, you can pass that receivable onto the credit card provider a little bit sooner and obviously get your money in the bank quicker. Establish collection policies and procedures. Just make sure your firm has a policy in place and routinely keep it up to date. This is an opportunity for you to obviously define those collection procedures and set expectations with the client up front that, again, we're going to do some work for you, you're agreeing to this, and we're determined to get paid. So those are having a collection policy in place and making sure that it's regularly updated is very important. And then finally, maintaining that relationship aspect. When you're so focused on improving cash flow, it can be easily, firms seem to get easily lulled into the transactional mindset. We're just trying to get this money, get this money, get this money. Making sure that you have positive interactions, even interactions that involve asking for payment, can really go a long way in getting new clients and obviously keeping that current client's overall satisfaction. Just be transparent, clear up front with answers to any questions they have. And remember, simple acts of consideration can go a really long way in the minds of clients. Clients and people in general always remember the last interaction. They could have had the best experience up front. They ran into some cash flow challenges. You weren't able to work with them, or they had a bad experience at the end. They always remember that last interaction they had. So make it a good one in a memorable way. Find some way to work with the client to make sure that they can get payment to you. So I thought I'd take this opportunity. This is going to be a short webinar for sure, but payment technology is a critical component in making payments happen faster. Now that we've gone over some of the best AR or best practices with AR, I just wanted to share a quick preview of some of the capabilities of ClientPay and how you can improve your collection process. I'm not going to spend a ton of time here. It's not going to be salesy, I promise you. It's going to be more just an overview on, I had mentioned the overall experience of the client. Client has cash flow challenges. What tools can we put in place to make sure that we can get payment from them? Well, some of that would be being able to set up recurring payments. So through tokenization, we are able to create kind of a payment object or payment wallet for clients to be able to process transactions. or for you to be able to store wallets for clients. So PCI compliant level 1 removes the need for you to store any data within your environment. We don't actually even store it here. It's stored with the processor, but by having multiple cards on file or a card on file, you can establish a payment plan. And these are very important, especially when you have, legal bills can certainly get out of hand. They can get very big very quickly. And if you're not getting regular payment from a client and they have some cash flow challenges, going through that empathy part and maintaining that relationship, you can maybe structure a payment plan with a client where they're able to pay you $500 a month for 10 months. That way or 20 months, I guess, in this case, where they're able to pay you over the course of time. That way you're getting some money in the door. You're getting they're paying their receivable down, and it's kind of a win-win situation for both the clients. Not having to reduce the bill in any way, shape, or form. Obviously, you might want to start there to try to get the lump sum, but this system will allow you to kind of set it and forget it and allow them to charge the transaction. There's notifications and things that we can pre-notify, so email reminders would go out to the client just 2 days prior to let them know, hey, friendly reminder, we set up a payment agreement and your payment will be charged in 2 business days or 2 days. So that's one great feature that I know a lot of firms love to use, especially when they're having some challenges reaching out to clients and getting some of that money moving and some of that money coming in the door. The online payment piece is extremely important. So many of our firms, for client convenience, speed of payments, and security, have gone to these online payment forms where certainly you can create a website, and I have hundreds of thousands of examples of firms that are doing it today where they're just pointing, if you need to pay, go to this URL, you can process your transaction. Works really well for different firm sizes. If you don't have a ton of resources, don't have a bunch of people in a collection department or accounting department, and you're out of the office, if you have questions, contact Ryan. If you need to make a payment, visit us here. So out-of-office messages and different communications. Think of all the communications you have with your client. Every touch point could potentially be an opportunity for you to say, hey, by the way, if you owe us money, you can pay it by going here. So this would be an example of a simple payment form. You can change whatever items you want to capture, if it's attorney name or client name, and different things you can do here. But allows you to either email these out with past due notices. This time of year, we get a ton of them that here's all of our clients that are in this 90-day plus AR range. We're going to send out 3 communications, and we're going to include a click-to-pay link with each one of those to help drive some of that information, or to help drive some of those payments in the door. And then finally, we have a Bill Now feature. So this would be another tool where you could upload a set of data points and be able to send out emails to either one or multiple clients saying, hey, you owe us money, click here to pay. And unlike the payment page that is a little bit more open form, this is a little bit more sophisticated in that it would allow you to pre-fill invoice numbers, client names, amounts, invoice dates, due dates, that type of thing, and client just needs to enter in their card information. So some of our firms really like this feature, especially for the past due clients. They can just upload a set of data points, and the system will trigger an email out to the client. And then when they click the link, it would look very similar to the previous page, except it would have some of that data pre-filled for them. And then obviously from a reporting perspective, you'll see that even on the bill now, you'll be able to track how many are sent out from an AR perspective, how many have made payments. You can export those to Excel. So there's just a number of different options that allow you to process transactions. You can certainly pull reports if there's different ways in which you're running those payments. You can create custom reports, and then also just say, how many payments do we have today? All right, great, it matches up. Wait a minute, who is this client? You can click in, and it would show, okay, it's Yogi Inc., and they process a payment for $5,601, and you can move on from there. So a lot of different ways in which you can set up, I guess, different payment tools for clients. And again, I hit home on the touch point option. If you're communicating with clients, it's important to put something in front of them, just acknowledging that they can process a payment versus maybe just the one invoice that's mailed out to them that says to send payment here. That's going to get filed away and shuffled away, and when it does come up, it's probably going to get sent in late. So that is really the end of our session today, and it would be quick. We're trying to keep it under a half hour. Want to thank you all again for joining us. And if you do have any questions, certainly reach out to me. I'd love to learn a little bit about how you're currently accepting payments from clients, and share some experiences of firms that maybe were in your shoes and rolled out or slowly rolled out or dove in headfirst into a new collection process where they were allowing for different types of payments to be coming into the firm and what impact that had on their cash flow. So thank you again.
Thank you, Ryan, for all of that wonderful information. And as Ryan said, this does conclude today's webcast. Thank you, everyone, for attending. We will send out an email link tomorrow with the recording for this webinar. And please visit our event calendar to sign up for future webcasts. Have a great afternoon, everyone.